The last question of today is from Grayson.
Oh,
She's
so our Grayson.
Yeah, Australian
Oh,
Grayson.
hello, Grayson.
She sent quite a few questions in, but the one I just picked out one of them. But it was, how do you keep your knowledge up to date in what seems like an industry that's constantly evolving?
Again, that's a good question. I mean, you're not always going to have time to go on continuous courses to update yourself. We quite often get sent products to sort of try and everything. So we're constantly being sent new things, new types of skin illustrators, some that are activated by water as opposed to IPA. You kind of, Sean Richards brought out a lovely range of products that are really, really good to use as well. But you kind of get to test them. Luckily enough, I do get sent stuff that I sort of test and use that way. But I have to say that quite often, what will happen is the products that work. And it's like when we all started using skin illustrators, it took a long time for the industry to kind of understand how to use them. And in that interim period, in that kind of grey area, I suppose, we still kind of did what we knew worked. We felt confident enough as to how to dilute down the skin illustrators and how to kind of sort of do all of that. And I mean, it's likewise. I mean, the thing that changes a lot is wig glue. Everybody's got a favourite wig glue. And there's always different ways of using it, and there's different problems you might have with it, a build up of it and everything. And you kind of you just have to sort of, I tend to kind of try to experiment with stuff, maybe not on my main actor. I'll quite often kind of give it to Charmaine to try out, or give it to the girls, sort of to try out. And we'll do little tests with it. We test with it before we put it anywhere near any of the actors. We'll test it and see how it works.
I think it's also, I mean, for me, I think it's having confidence to sort of, when someone presents you with a product or something, to have that confidence. Say, well, actually, I don't know how to do that. I remember when you've done the boot camp and stuff, and I can't remember what look it was, but one of the students, and you was like, wow, it's brilliant. Like, how did you do that? I'd never thought of it. So you can't be, not everyone can have, or no one can have all the knowledge. I think it's having that confidence, say, oh, actually, I never knew that. That's interesting.
Well, I think it's another thing that's kind of very, very paramount in what we do is you never kind of have all the answers for everything. And sometimes I feel it's like when I first did hairdressing, I always remember, because I was never taught how to cut hair originally. And when I was finally taught the proper way to cut hair, by then I knew so many shortcuts of what I could and couldn't do to hair. It's almost like working out how you make that all work for yourself. And I think sometimes it's the same with makeup. Sometimes you get so bogged down in what is the right way to do things that you kind of forget that actually you don't necessarily need to do it the right way. You just need to do it the way that works.
Yeah. I think it's one of the good things, but you always say, well, again, if I remember correctly, was, like a lip brush or a so-and-so eye brush. It's like, this is the makeup brush. That's it, and if you can use it for the eyes, for the lips, for the ears, for whatever, use it, Yeah,
no, I've always hated people using terminology on specific brushes. That's one of my pet hates, is a brush.